Wow, it's pretty dark down here. And pretty chilly too. I'm in Traben-Trarbach on the Moselle River. The city is known for these underground cellar vaults. Where are we? What kind of cellar is this?
We're in one of the large cellars of the Traben-Trarbach underworld, former wine cellars. Unfortunately, they're no longer used as such today. There are cellars under the whole of Traben-Trarbach because at the end of the 20th century, it was a huge wine trading center. People said it was the second largest wine trading center in Europe, after Bordeaux in France. In the year 1898 alone, some 18 million liters of wine made their way from here out into the big wide world.
The first thing all visitors notice above ground is the bridge gate on the Moselle. At the beginning of the 19th century, there was enough wealth here to commission the well-known Berlin Art Nouveau architect Bruno Möhring. He not only designed the bridge gate, but also a number of villas. Art Nouveau architecture characterizes Traben-Trarbach to this day. A great place to start my journey along the Moselle. Today I want to find out why the Moselle is one of the most beautiful riverscapes in Germany. So I'm off for a ride along a part of the Moselle cycle path, from Traben-Trarbach to Cochem. But that's not all. I'll also be finding out why Moselle wines are so special. The nice thing about a bike path that runs along a river is that it's fairly flat, at least as long as it's close to the water. The Moselle Valley also offers a lot of beautiful panoramas, but for those you have to paddle a little harder. But it's worth taking the detour uphill. Here, for example, are the ruins of Grevenburg Castle. Built in the 14th century, it was repeatedly attacked, destroyed and rebuilt until it was finally blown up in the 18th century. From here, I can get a fantastic view over the Moselle Valley. Biking along the Moselle, I can definitely recommend it. Most of the time, you can ride along the water, away from cars and streets, through natural landscapes or small wine-growing villages. The river and the wine, somehow they belong together, especially near Brem. It's where you'll find the Calmont, probably the most famous vineyard in Germany because of its steep slope. I meet the winemaker Martin Oster. Why is the wine from the Moselle so special? How does it differ from other wines?
It's the soil. Because we have these steep shale slopes, the slate found at these elevations warms the vineyard slightly. Due to its dark color, the slate stores heat, which is emitted to the grapevines little by little. That means it's always a little warmer up here on the hill than in the flatter areas. And that helps the Riesling, most of all, to ripen well. Because Riesling is a grape variety that ripens relatively late. So here, the Riesling matures nicely without acquiring too high an alcohol content. And due to the shale soil, it has a great minerality.
Can I eat one?
You can, but it won't taste very good. We're still too far from harvest time, so it won't be much of a treat. You'll notice that the grapes are still pretty hard. But if you want to try, go ahead. Like I said, Riesling ripens late.
It's so sour!
Because there's still a lot of acid and not much sugar. We have other varieties that mature somewhat sooner and already taste great. They'd have been better for a taste.
Don't be offended, but
just spit it out.
Out of the vineyard and into the Enoteca, Martin Oster shows me his wine shop, where you can taste the fruits of his labor as a winemaker. What have we got?
Lucas, I've selected a wine for you. A Riesling, of course, from the vineyard we just visited. Give it a try.
With pleasure.
So, to your health.
Delicious.
Wonderful. Glad you like it. Maybe you noticed the minerality I was talking about?
Well, I'm not much of a wine connoisseur. I could say that the wine is somewhere between sweet and sour. What should I be tasting? What is unique about this wine?
Generally, it has a slightly peachy aroma, as is the case with many Rieslings. The nice, really characteristic thing about our Riesling grown on the steep slopes is its slight minerality, which makes it taste a bit salty. If you let the wine dance around a bit on your palate, it develops this characteristic quality and a certain lightness. Even though it's quite mature, it's a bit lighter and doesn't have such a high alcohol content. That's what makes the Mosel and its shale soils so special.
May it stay that way. Martin, Prost. Along the Moselle, the cycle path runs on both banks of the river. En route, you can always find ferries to take you to the other side. I still have a few kilometers to go before I'll reach my destination, Cochem. Visible in the distance is Cochem Castle. It looks old, but only dates from the 19th century. Cochem has just 5,000 inhabitants, but it's a much visited city. Many Moselle River cruises set off from here. And you can also find a specialty that is typical of the region, the Moselle peach, which is used for cakes and tarts, for example. Mr. Budwig, I know what a peach is, but what makes the Moselle peach so special?
Right away you can see the colour's different, and it's also a bit smaller than your average peach. The peach trees are planted on land that's no longer used to grow wine. The grapevines are removed and replaced with trees, which grow quite well due to the minerals in the soil. We use the peaches in both sweet and savoury dishes. We make tarte flambée with them. It's both sweet and savoury. You can also make nice jam. Peach compote with vanilla is also nice, and liqueur too. So the fruit has much to offer.
I'm not here for fun, but for scientific reasons. I would like to test it.
We'll cut you a slice off and you can try it.
Okay, thank you. That looks fortifying. Can hardly wait. A Moselle peach cake, just the right thing after my bike tour. I've got one last tip for you. In Cochem, take the cable car up to the Pinnerberg. From there, you have to hike a little further over the rock to the Pinner Kreuz. This cross was put here in memory of a shepherd who wanted to save one of his animals from falling and died in the process. From this spot, you have the whole panorama in front of you. I have to admit, it's a cliché, but as with many clichés, there is some truth to it. The Moselle region is a region for connoisseurs. So here you can enjoy with your eyes, but also with your palate. There is diversified nature you can discover perfectly by bike, plus this delicious wine and the Moselle peach. So I gotta say, I could stay a little longer. I mean, it's obvious. Take a look at this perfect view over Cochem and the Moselle. See you next time.